All right, we're back. Week 3 of the Warehouse Fantasy Football League is in the books. Before we get to the games, I want to talk about something from last weekend, which I'm calling Shut Up Weekend of Fantasy Football. Basically, the fantasy gods telling several of us to shut up. We don't know what we're talking about. I'll start with me as I predicted, or I just guaranteed basically, that Sacco Boy was going to be 0-3 as he was going up against the Misfits, who had started out of the gate on fire. Sacco Boy didn't play a running back and still was playing Matt Prater as his kicker. However, he pulled off the 83-61 win. So basically, shut up to me. The other shut ups we're going to talk about are to a few people who question some trades. First, the Eddie Lacy trade, or the trade that involved Eddie Lacy and Rashard Jennings. That was questioned by a couple of people. Well, I know it's a week, but this week Rashard Jennings outdid Lacy 24-1. There was also some other input, other parts of that trade that really made it look one-sided the other way. That it was said to be one-sided the Lacy way. So now I know it's 1 week. Everyone's going to say, but so far this year, Rashard Jennings is doubled, maybe even tripled Lacy's output. Lacy's off to a very slow start, and this guy hopes it continues through this week as the Bears and the Packers match up. The other trade that tells us to shut up that was questioned was the LaShawn McCoy shady trade. It was a couple people not real happy with that, saying that it wasn't balanced. Could have gave up a little more. Come on, Matt. Well, Matt's guys did okay, but Shady got two for his new owner, the Guardians. Not a great day for Shady last week, but really not a great season so far. As Sproles, who got basically zero last week, as well as the running backs for Philadelphia got nothing out of the 37 points they scored. But he's still outperforming Shady this year so far. That Eagles offense is very diverse. I love McCoy, but I don't think he is the fantasy MVP this year, or at least at least for talk of it. Last year, at least you could say maybe he's the fantasy MVP, or at least put up a fight for him, even though we all knew Peyton was by far the MVP. This year, Shady's not even in the top 20 conversation right now. Obviously, there's 10 more weeks to the regular season, and we'll see how it plays out. But again, fantasy God's telling all of us to shut up. All right, let's get to the games. First game is, well, let's just start with my pathetic privates. The Mills were all over my pathetic privates. 88-66. Eric with the big win. He's 3-0 now and alone at the top of our division. Nice start, Eric. Next game up, well, let's quickly, we talked about this a few minutes ago, but Sacco Boy gets his first win of the year, again without a running back and a kicker, 83-61 over the Misfits, who I think what happened was Misfits team thought they scored enough points for 2 or 3 weeks. Dave, let your guys know those points aren't carried over. They got to score every week, man. All right, that was a low score of the week, by the way, the 61. All right, next up, the comeback kid gets his first win of the year, 106-87 over the Guardians. Again, comeback needed a big win. This was 2-0-2 teams, so the Guardians are our only winless team. Definitely going to need a win this week, but congrats, comeback kids are in the win column. Again, 106-87. The Colonials with the 91-75 win over Matt's bogus journey. It was more like a lonely journey, I want to call it this week, instead of bogus. Matt's lonely journey, as he had Andrew Luck get him 35, but no one else came to play. Well, basically, no one else came to play. So, more on Luck later. And then our closest game of the week, we had should have been Shady. Yes, Anthony, it should have been Shady, although he is kind of, as we talked about, struggling a little bit, but at least he's playing. I told you on Facebook too. Should have been Shady. But anyways, squeaks out the 88-87 win over Ruxin, who had Matt Forte and Jay Cutler going on Monday night. That game almost going in overtime. If that game goes into overtime, Ruxin clearly wins the game. I mean, there's probably no doubt that he does, but it doesn't. The Bears hang on. The defense holds steady. Bears get a big win on the road, and Shady gets a big win over previously undefeated Ruxin. All right, let's play our players of the week and whatnot. This week's player of the week came down. There was a lot of big scores this week, or a lot of guys in contention. But because of the blowout of most games, I stuck with the Shady Ruxin game. Matt Ryan at 26, Julio Jones at 28. I'm giving the player of the week to Matt Ryan with the 26, based solely on the fact that Shady's team won. His team pulled out the victory, and winning's what counts in this league or any league. So Player of the week, Matt Ryan. Yes, I said it, Matt Ryan. Matty Ice. Yes, 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 Anthony. Matty Ice. I hate him. He's awful. Boston College guy. Killed Notre Dame when he's in there. I don't care about his 26. I know he had 35 guys the week before. I know he's got, 61 points over the last 2 weeks. He's awful. He's awesome. He's awesome. I hate him. I don't want him. But congrats. He is our player of the week. My shout out player of the week, sleeper player of the week, easily is Rashard Jennings with his 24. He not only paced the Giants to a victory, but he paced Will's team to their first victory of the year. Now our chokers of the week is threefold. I got someone at third place. That's going to be Eddie Lacy. He's going to get an honorable mention choker of the week. He had 1 point, pathetic. He has not been what anybody thought he was. I think he's now been traded twice. Yes, Ruxin drafted him, traded him to Will, and then Will moved him to Anthony. So, and I think he's got under 15 on the season. Might be off that, but not very far if I am. So he's clearly my honorable mention choker of the week, and only because his team that he's on, Shady, they pulled out the victory. Otherwise, he'd be alone standing, especially if it was a close game. But the winners of choker of the week this week are LaShawn McCoy, previously mentioned, and Brandon Marshall. They are the chokers of the week. The Guardians lost by 19 points. These two gave Mark 2. If they give the Guardians more than the 2, if they give them their average, the Guardians pull off a close win. They did not. The Guardians lose, going to 0-3. So those are our chokers of the week. And then one more award. We got our huge output of the week, but it really didn't matter. And that's going to go to the previously mentioned Andrew Luck, again with 35. Andrew Luck had 370 yards, 4 touchdowns passing. His team had a huge win on the field, his fantasy team, while the rest of the players didn't show up, as Matt's bogus journey took a horrible turn. All right, so this week's games here coming up here. We got the Weeby household versus the DeAndre household. I am taking on Will in a rematch of last year's Sheba. Both of us are 1-2. We both need a big win. Looks like an even matchup. Anybody's game should be great to watch, well, at least for me. The other Weeby DeAndre matchup, of course, is Anthony taking on the Guardians. Guardians are 0-3, desperately needing to win this week. I like their chances to still fight for a playoff. They have, when you group everybody's group of 4 or 5 guys, you take the top 4 or 5 guys, I might choose Mark's 5. It's if not first, he's second in my opinion. Although, as we said earlier, Fantasy God's been telling people to shut up. But anyways, I like his chances at 0-3 to fight back into playoff contention. Those are those games. We also have Sacco Boy taking on Matt's bogus journey. Both of them are 1-2. Big game for both of those guys. Maybe Sacco Boy will have a full team this week. Maybe not. We'll see. Another one of the other games, we have the MILF taking on the Misfits. Misfits coming off a disappointing 61 points. MILF 3-0, but the Misfits at 2-1 with a win can put themselves right back in the first place and put that 61 embarrassment in their rearview mirror. Okay, and then our last game is we got the Colonials going up against Ruxin. They're both 2-1, and they're fighting for first place in that division. That should be a great matchup. I know Jack desperately wants to win this game and be in first place. In fact, I'm pretty sure he'll do a happy dance. Hopefully he'll post that on Facebook so we all can see. All right, guys. Until next week, good luck. We'll see you then.